From the deep, dark hollows of Knox County, Kentucky, where the moonshine is strong, the stories are strange, and your neighbor is probably your cousin. This is Appalachia, not so quiet. Hey, welcome back, everybody. I'm your host, Hillbilly Phantom. And as always, I'm joined by my lovely co-host.
Much in shape.
How you doing today?
Pretty good.
Pretty good?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's been a good day. Been a nice, kind of lazy day.
Cold.
Yeah, it was a little chilly. Starting to get that fall
You were
weather.
yelling at me for turning the heat on. Chilly.
Yeah, well, I mean, I try to put that off as long as possible. You know, those heat bills are expensive. But that just means it's fall. And fall is my favorite time of the year, especially this month. It's Halloween month, spooky month, all month long. And we've already started
Decorating for Christmas.
what?
Christmas.
We've not started decorating for Christmas. I'm going to make you put that off as long as possible. This is Halloween. This is Halloween month.
You got to go to work someday.
We're not doing anything Christmas until after Halloween is over.
Right. November 1st.
Well, maybe not that soon. We'll get to it. Just calm down. So in honor of October, Halloween month, we've decided to do some spooky ghost stories. Or, well, spooky stories. Supernatural stories. Still within the Appalachia region.
Yeah, this is still Appalachian folklore.
Yeah, this is still the southeastern part of Kentucky.
Several witnesses to these events. So.
Yeah, a lot. And we've kind of already been celebrating a little bit, watching some scary movies. Our little one is actually becoming a scary movie fan.
He'd rather watch Christmas movies, though.
Well, I know he likes Christmas. He's starting to get into the scary movies, too. Because he came to me wanting to watch Child's Play.
That's a good one.
Yeah, very good one. And of course, and now I've got him on a kick wanting to watch all the classic slashers. We watched Scream. He's wanting to watch Halloween 1 and 2 next. And then, of course, we got to try to squeeze in Friday the 13th and A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Y'all have fun with that. I'm not a scary movie person.
Yeah,
I'll watch Child's Play with you, but I don't want to watch any of the rest of them.
You won't watch any of my cheesy scary movies.
How about some Casper, the Friendly Ghost?
Oh, you'll take Friendly
Yeah, Casper.
Ghosts. Have a little Beetlejuice or Casper.
Yeah.
It's a fun kind of haunting story.
Was it Scary Movie?
Yeah, we watch Scary Movie too.
All the scary movies. I'll watch those. Those are funny.
Well, it's always nice to throw in a little comedy with your scares. Keeps the mood light. Now, we're going to get to our scary stories. But first, we wanted to throw out a little update from our last episode. We talked about a murderer from many years ago from right here in our own county, Cloburn Jacobs.
Cloburn
Jacobs, as I always thought his name was. So some of the details that we were unclear about or couldn't find much information on, we actually have the newspaper story. We had page 2 of this story, and that's where we got some of our information.
Yeah, we had a really hard time trying to find the first page.
Yeah, for some reason, we just could not run across it. Now, thanks to one of our wonderful listeners, we were actually finally led to that first page. This news story that was originally in the Lexington Herald Leader by William Kessler. Now, it has, most of the information that we were able to dig up about Judge Morgan sentencing Cloburn Jacobs to die in the electric chair for the 1986 murder of Alice Lloyd College sophomore Judy Ann Howard. Now, when we talked about this story, everything we came across said that he was 36.
Yeah, when you do the math, he was 39.
Right, because it says in here when he was sentenced, he was 42, and it was just like 3 years after the murder. So he would have been 39, not 36.
Right.
So that clears up at least one thing.
And he was older than 24 when he killed Ladybird.
Yeah. Yeah, that means he would have been more like 27. And in our original research, we actually didn't find much information about Judy Ann's parents or anything they may have said about the murder. But this does offer one quote from her. When Jacobs was sentenced, she apparently leaned forward to her husband and cheered. And later on, she said, "I want to see him in the chair."
Sparky.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people wanted to see him in the chair, but that has not happened. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. And her father, Don Howard, had actually said that they hoped to attend the execution.
Yeah, and they've both passed away now.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
they're both gone now.
From other things that I went and researched now that we have the article, he can't be released. They won't allow him to be released for any reason at all. So
Okay.
yeah. He's 78, maybe 79, so
Yeah.
he's
Yeah, I don't
not-
think he's probably not going to last much longer.
No,
I don't
he's
think.
not doing too well.
And it goes on to say, Jacob's lawyer apparently predicted something right. He said there is a 100% guarantee this case will be reversed and he will never be put to death. So it wasn't reversed exactly.
He wasn't put to death.
Yeah, the death sentence was dropped, though. Now, something else we said was the murder weapon. I said, surely the murder weapon was right there nearby since they almost caught this guy in the act. According to this story, he killed her by pounding her head with rocks. He beat her to death with rocks. So I was thinking like, a hammer or a crowbar or something.
Right. No, I just use
Yeah,
natural earth.
that's disturbing. At least it seems he wasn't prepared to kill somebody. Unless, I guess maybe he wanted to use his bare hands.
And that there hasn't been any executions in Kentucky since 2010. And though it was like in the early 90s that they stopped using the electric chair unless someone had been found guilty before then they can choose if they want to use the electric chair or use lethal injection.
Right.
But now our lovely governor going AWOL on him a little bit. So, has said that he cannot allow lethal injection in Kentucky anymore. It's not really on him. It's because the pharmaceutical companies are no longer releasing the medicines for lethal injection.
Old Sparky doesn't require medicine.
Right? Not for some that, like I said, that were convicted before lethal injection was a thing.
Yeah.
They still have that option.
Yeah, I think they've gotten way too soft on everything. I mean, you see how they're having to activate the National Guard to go and help try to clean up some of these big cities and stuff.
Yeah, unfortunately. But now our governor's also trying to blame it on the Attorney General and our Congress, our representatives, for not allowing lethal injection. That it's not on him solely, but he could just sign a paper and saying,
yeah,
or executive order saying we're opening this back up.
I mean, Texas did that many years ago, as Ron White famously said. We put in an express lane.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were tired of these death row inmates just sitting around and, living off taxpayer dollars and getting all these appeals.
I mean, they're living their life. Yeah, they might be behind, four walls, but
yeah,
these other, the people's life they took
they're gone. They don't have a life anymore. And, I'm a big proponent of the eye for an eye type stuff.
There's a case coming up in November we've discussed recently. That I think is going to require death penalty. Jaden Spicer's mother.
Oh yeah, yeah. We need to make sure that the death penalty is on the table for that one.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, back to in the last episode, we said we looked for his military service but couldn't find it. In this article, it confirms he did serve in the Vietnam War, and that was actually used as part of his defense that he was incapable of controlling his actions because the Vietnam War had made him so mean and brutal.
But Wasn't a lot of our veterans and stuff, they were treated. Why wasn't he treated? If that was the case.
Well, a whole lot of the Vietnam War vets, I mean, there was a lot that were kind of left behind. Well, we really didn't give them the help that they needed. Not all of them. Some of them were able to go through the proper channels and get help, but a lot of them were just kind of left behind and didn't get the help that they deserved, the help they needed.
It still doesn't really justify killing somebody.
Right. Yeah.
So,
They had psychiatrists and psychologists talk to this guy, and none of them thought that, he was so mentally messed up that he didn't understand what he had done and
Pretty
how
much.
serious the charges were.
Pretty much it was alcohol doing all the talking.
Now, this is something that we never saw, and it's just wild. It says that Jacobs, after claiming that television evangelist Pat Robertson was the Antichrist, was initially ruled incompetent to stand trial. Then the first state psychiatrist who examined him was charged with unlawful transactions with a minor in Franklin County, and Morgan was set up with another competence hearing. So initially we had a psychiatrist
Yeah.
who was going to claim that Jacobs was unfit to stand trial or incompetent to stand trial. But thankfully that didn't happen. Now, this is even more strange, stranger than him claiming that Pat Robertson is the Antichrist. It says, while trial jurors were deliberating his fate, Jacobs handed defense attorney Derek Gordon several watermelon seeds and asked that they be given to the defendant's first lawyers in the case.
The first ones that he fired, he wouldn't work with.
Right, Neil Walker and Gary Johnson of the State Public Defender's Office. Jacobs said the lawyers would understand what the seeds meant. So Johnson took the stand and said he had no idea of the seeds' significance, but contended they showed Jacobs was continuing to behave irrationally.
And they didn't even look any further into that.
Yeah.
Not even asking, well, what do they mean? Because we don't know. I have my assumptions, though. So I don't know how many seeds there was, but they could have been as many people as he has killed.
Right.
They could have been like, let's say, he was passing on the sin to them. Could have been that. That it was in their hands now.
Yeah.
It was on them.
Could have been some hoodoo.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he learned from an old granny witch or something.
Or they say planting the seed, but I really think it is a symbol of how many people he had killed, that they would know. They were able to count how many seeds there was, how many he had killed.
Like I said, there were a couple of other people that disappeared during that time.
Right. Well, he had killed Ladybird. And a few years later, Kelly went missing.
Yeah.
Kelly Holland went missing. And I know everybody's like, oh, but he only took on women. Did he? Or did he just take on people that were vulnerable?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it could have been that, he only got caught from the two women. And the two women weren't very, similar. They were very different in age and looks.
Right. Because his first kill was a 55-year-old woman, an elderly woman.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be, that he may have tried his hand at some other types of victims, but that's all just speculation on our part.
And to go back to the Kelly Holland, like, apparently all that lived in Pine Tree Hollow was family, and all of those had been in trouble with the law. So who's to say maybe those people didn't call him up to come over and pick the little boy up or something? Or he was supposed to pick up Kelly's mom?
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? I mean, it's definitely a possibility.
And he also said in the article as well that he was basically leading the police on a wild goose chase because he had more information he wasn't sharing with them.
Right. Yeah, it sounds to me like he might be guilty of maybe some other people, and we just don't know about it.
If you think about the Kelly Holland case, that was a wild goose chase because they had no leads. Like, they would have leads and it would just lead to a dead end.
Yeah. Yeah, it went nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Every lead that came in. Yeah, you can't really take anything off the table. It's definitely a possibility because he is known for murdering at least two women, and there are other people that disappeared. Their bodies were never found in between those years of those two women that he killed. It's very possible. So anyway, that was just a quick little update, some extra information we got. Like I said, a listener happened to send us that. Thank you very much. We always appreciate our listeners leaving comments and correcting us if we mess up on something or, you know about information that we don't have. Go ahead and send it to us. We'll correct ourselves, I promise. But now we move on to tonight's episode. Spooky, scary, supernatural type stories. Can't really claim that these are 100% real, I guess, but these are reports, these are incidents that actually happened that people have talked about, have reported on, have dictated to others. But these stories, whether they're 100% for real, obviously there's some truth in there somewhere. We're going to start tonight at the top of a mountain. So tell me, Shay, do you know of Clack Mountain?
Yes. Yes, I do. Of course I would.
Yeah, just right down the road from Morehead State University, Rowan County. This mountain is kind of unusual anyway, from a natural standpoint. If you ever look at a aerial shot of this mountain, it almost looks like a big dinosaur spine or something, like a big backbone. Looks like a big spine jutting out of the green trees and stuff. It's white limestone, and it has large veins of iron ore running through. And because of the iron deposits, it can even look like the rocks are bleeding from time to time. A very strange place. And it's quite a big mountain. There's a little twisty, winding road that goes along that mountain. Now, I don't know if we've ever discussed this. We may have, not on the podcast, I don't think. But so I used to stay in Moorhead with my mother when she was finishing her college. So she got her associates from Hazard, and then she went to Moorhead to get her bachelor's. And the easiest thing was for me and my older brother to go there and just stay with her in the family housing apartments. It was a very rough situation, being away from our home in Knott County, away from Dad and my oldest brother, who stayed behind because, school and work. Now, at this time, that road across Clack Mountain was the quickest route to take to get across from our end over to the college. Now, as a child, I had some issues with getting car sick, and I would get car sick every now and then if we were on a very curvy road and I was just kind of swaying back and forth a lot in that back seat. I would start getting nauseous, and sometimes I wouldn't be able to hold it, and my mom or dad would have to pull off the side of the road and let me throw up. I think probably a lot of kids have that issue.
I used to when I was little. I had it really bad.
Yeah, our oldest actually has gotten car sick a few times, but that's all it was. It was just an every now and then type of thing. But Clack Mountain, every single time we would drive up that mountain, I would get sick. I would feel it coming on. It gets stronger and stronger as we went further up the mountain. By the time we could make it to the top of the mountain, there was a wide spot, and it seemed like my mom would have to pull over in that wide spot almost every time so I could throw up.
I remember going over that way, like when we would go from our cabin, we would go through Pretty Ridge and then over toward Clack Mountain to go out to Moorhead. We had to go do some shopping or anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was the only way, really, from that side of the county or whatever to get over into Moorhead.
Yeah, because it was several years later, like when I was little, that they opened up Pretty Ridge that you could bypass that.
Yeah. Yeah, now there's a bypass. You don't have to take that big, long, winding mountain road. So, yeah, I just, every now and then my mom could give me some Dramamine, and I would still feel the urge to throw up, but I wouldn't throw up. And sometimes I could hold it till we got to the other side, and there was like an old gas station, I think, just down on the other side of that mountain, and she'd pull over there and I'd throw up. Well, I never really put much thought into that. Just a kid with a kind of a weak stomach, getting car sick because of a very windy, curvy road. But recently, some new information has fell into my hands. Thanks to my older brother who sent me a video he found of somebody talking about Clack Mountain and the strange things that have happened, including satanic worship and sacrifice.
They didn't.
Well, I always thought it was weird going up that mountain. You would see, like on the rocks, those very white looking rocks, you would see like stuff carved into the rock and graffiti, like spray painted. And sometimes it was very satanic symbolism. So I don't know if that's 100% accurate. Supposedly, these things happened. There's also been reports of some kind of creature, like maybe a Bigfoot, some kind of cryptid type creature. Maybe it's Dogman. We've talked a lot about the whole Dogman.
Well, it's close to Cave Run Lake, so
yeah, it's right up the road. But as it turns out, and I've got some friends who also attended Moorhead, and I might need to ask them sometime.
But it makes sense that they're using the limestone because supposedly that amplifies witchcraft.
Right, exactly.
There's a lot of that in Rowan County.
Yeah, limestone is known for being able to hold like energy, like the supernatural energy. It said that a lot of times, if there's a large deposit of limestone, you'll have a lot of paranormal events and activities. You'll see a lot of orbs and apparitions.
And the property that my family owns in Cave Run, like those cliffs are all back there. That's just so beautiful.
Yeah.
And there's limestone everywhere, but you can just pick it up.
Yeah, it's a very limestone rich area. So it makes sense that there would be supernatural type things happening in that area. Orbs of light is another big one that's been reported by a lot of people. And not like, I see a little orb of light floating through the trees. No, this is like thousands, hundreds of these bluish white orbs floating around on top of this mountain. Not bugs, not like light bugs or nothing. Lightning bugs.
Fireflies.
Yeah, whatever you want to call them. It wasn't any kind of insect or anything of that nature. It was just these balls of floating light. Now, I dug through some social media posts, Reddit, Facebook, things of that nature, and saw all kinds of people talking about this mountain. It's like, hey, does anybody remember Clack Mountain? Apparently, this is what I need to ask my friends about. Apparently, there was all kinds of dares being made among the students, to go up on Clack Mountain and spend the night. Like it was a big deal, prove you're not a wuss type of thing. And apparently it's because, there's all these reports of satanic rituals and strange things happening. I'd never heard of any of this. This was all news to me. So, yeah, I get to digging around and I find a lot of personal accounts. So I dug out one of the more detailed and kind of spooky accounts that somebody took some time to type out, and I wanted to read it real fast. And I believe this was a woman that says, we lived in Moorhead in the early 80s. Now that's around the time I would have been there. Mid 80s is when I was there, like 85, 86.
Me too.
The 87.
My family used to go down there all the time.
Oh, yeah. Been right up the road from me. You should have come down and visited.
Honey, I wasn't able to walk yet.
Oh, yeah. So they lived in Moorhead in the early 80s. Said she was 11. My mother worked nights at a little place on the edge of town called the Eagle's Nest.
I know where that's at.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I remember that. The owners, kindly, tired people who treated us like family, would let me and my brothers eat in the break room after school. We ate a lot of peach cobbler there. We heard a lot of things there, too, the kind of low private talk grown-ups drop when they think no children is listening, but we always were. One day, one of the waitresses vanished. She didn't call in sick. She just simply stopped coming to work. Conversations in the restaurant softened when her name came up. Weeks later, she returned, and the sight of her was dreadful. Her once blonde hair was dyed a sick, uneven black and hacked as if with a blade.
Oh no, she found the box color.
She smelled of old smoke and something rotten. The owners locked themselves in the office with her. Their voices, barely audible through the thin door, soon rose into a chorus of pleading, and then the waitress left sobbing, running out into the cold air and fog. The owners told my mother, and we were sitting there with our spoons, that the girl had gotten into something she couldn't get out of without leaving the area. She had begged for money to escape, but they had to refuse. Business wasn't so good. So this girl had gotten involved in something. Drugs, gang. I don't think there's too many gangs in the 80s in Moorhead, but obviously she gotten into something. She disappeared for a while, and then she comes asking for money, wanting to get away. About a month later, a friend of the owners of the restaurant told them that the girl had been found on top of Clack Mountain with a drinking straw pushed into her heart.
Wow.
Yeah. They said the family wanted no fuss, so the papers in the area remained silent.
Drinking straw? Like a flick straw?
I don't know. Yeah, a drinking straw inserted into her. I mean, you couldn't just jab a plastic straw into somebody's heart. That would require, probably cutting or stabbing and then inserting the straw. But that sounds like some satanic stuff right there. Like they were drinking her blood.
Yeah.
Crazy. Eventually, they told my mother when the restaurant was closing to never trust anyone in Moorhead. And then it concludes by just saying for decades, people in Rowan County had whispered that the high rock ledges and hidden hollows of Clack Mountain were more than just wilderness. And there's been, like I said, all of these tales of, satanic rituals and witches, devil worship,
Cult stuff.
Yeah, occult type stuff. And I also came across several people who talked about going up to Clack Mountain either as part of this dare of, from students at Moorhead, or people who were just going up there, just out on a drive, of getting sick and nauseous on the mountain. And that made me think about my experience always getting sick on that mountain. Maybe it wasn't just me getting sick.
Coincidence.
I don't believe in coincidences. There's definitely something strange going on there. Maybe I was reacting to that. Maybe it was having some kind of an effect on me.
Hypersensitive to it.
Could be. I don't know. Just seemed a little too much of a coincidence that I found these stories, and then it kind of matched up with my personal experience. But yeah, if you dig around into the story, the history of Clack Mountain, you'll find a lot of these local reports from people about finding occult symbols. There were even pictures, and we'll have to pull some of those because pretty sure we're going to do a TikTok on this episode, so we'll have to get some of those images up. But you can see the images. People have taken pictures of these symbols that are carved into the rock or painted on the rock. They've even come across like these little altars, almost like sacrificial little altars built out of rocks. All kinds of occult symbols all throughout the 70s up into the 90s. There were these persistent rumors of satanic cults and sacrifices and stuff that happened around Halloween, of course. A lot of this, I'm sure, is probably just made up stuff, trying to scare people. But now there seems to be at least a little bit of truth in some of it. That person that wrote that story definitely thought there was something weird going on there, and being a witness to something strange that happened to this waitress. Now, I mean, you can't say for sure that it was something to do with the whole satanic stuff of Clack Mountain, but it's very possible. It just seems very strange for somebody to disappear for a while and then show up with black hair, it's been all chopped up with a knife. So if we got any listeners out there in the Rowan County area that know anything about Clack Mountain, drop us a comment, send us a message, let us know your story of Clack Mountain. I'd very much like to check that place out.
No, I'll pass. I'll take you to some mountains, though, behind the cabin there. It's just like them. That's not been, marked or anything.
Well, I'm, just like I said, the whole limestone thing.
Yeah.
It usually coincides with supernatural activity, paranormal activity.
Mhm.
Yeah, anywhere you go where there's a lot of limestone deposits. I think that what makes Clack Mountain, though, kind of unique is the fact that it has those iron ore veins kind of running through it.
So does these mountains behind where our cabin is.
Oh, they do? Okay.
Yeah, they look like dinosaurs too. And like one of them has got a big white like peak on it, but it's got like a circle. It's like a circle. I don't know. You can see through it. It's really cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's got like a eye of a needle
Mm-hmm.
type of thing going on. Yeah. Those are cool. I've seen some of those in pictures, not in real life. So yeah, we need to go check that out. That'd be cool. So that's my scary tale of Clack Mountain and my possible connection to it. So what have you got for a shade? You've got a little ghost story, don't
I
you?
do.
Yeah.
We're gonna start out with the deep, dark hollers of southeast Kentucky.
Sure.
Okay. Or you'll never leave Harlan alive.
Oh, this is Harlan, huh?
Yeah, this is a Harlan story.
Oh man, there's some good stories out of Harlan.
So this one's about the lady in white or 38 ghost. This is on Route 38.
Okay.
And from Harlan into Everett, Kentucky.
Lady in White, that's kind of a
Mhm.
classic ghost story. You hear Lady in White story in a lot of different
Well, a lot of
places.
times if it's a lady in white, it's a lady that has passed that was distressed when she passed away.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like
So
a lost love type of thing
Mhm.
or something of that nature.
So Kentucky 38 cuts east from Harlan toward Everett's, and this is a narrow, twisting, and it's like hemmed in the cliffs. It's kind of like a hill.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Like Clack Mountain.
And for decades, drivers have told the same story. A woman dressed all in white appears on the shoulder near Black Joe Bridge. Sometimes she waves for help. Sometimes she's standing there just staring at you. People's having encounters of her just appearing in the back seat of your car
Oh
as you're
wow.
driving down the road.
That would
Mhm.
seriously scare that would scare the heck
Yeah,
out of
a
me.
few have claimed that she stopped them and hitchhiked, and, just vanished. Like she's appeared in their back seat and then vanished away. And some say that she's not there in the back seat, but they can see her in their rearview mirror, but nothing's there. Truckers and bus drivers have swapped tails back in the 1950s, warning rookie drivers don't run that stretch after midnight unless you want company.
Oh, so this is an old story.
It is a very old
So out of the
story.
50s.
Mm-hmm. So this was back in 1946. Marguerite Craigs was murdered by her new husband, and they had only been married about 6 weeks, by an axe to the
Oh,
face.
an axe murder.
And they had, a lover's quarrel, but the neighbors heard screaming going on and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So apparently he axed her in the face, and some of the neighbors had found her the next morning.
That's gruesome.
And he kind of just had disappeared for a while. For just weeks after her second marriage, Maggie, as they called her, was brutally murdered with an axe in her home, leaving behind her 4-year-old son who witnessed the horrific event. And since then,
Oh,
drivers have reported seeing her ghostly image appear in the rearview mirrors or suddenly finding her sitting in the backseat of their cars as they traverse the dark and isolated bridge. So I guess it's my understanding that the mother was rushed to the hospital, and then Colvin returned back home where the 4-year-old son was, and he confronted him and said, "You killed my mother."
wow.
Yeah.
So he returned to the scene of the crime and was confronted by the little boy that had seen what he'd done.
Yeah, and the police had found the axe, the blood-covered axe stained axe on the floor.
Yeah, this is definitely a very gruesome tale. Something that could definitely lead to a haunting.
So I can't locate the exact article I remember reading. Albert Colvin, he was sought out by the authorities for her murder, and he was charged for manslaughter.
Okay. So this was like a real case. I mean,
Hmm.
this actually happened.
Yes, this actually happened.
Wow.
And here are some quotes of what people has said that has happened when they've had an encounter. One said, "It was raining so hard I could barely see right before the bridge. She was standing on the center line. I blinked and she was gone." Another one said, "I was coming home from my shift at the mine, thought saw taillights behind me, but there wasn't nobody there. Then I felt a cold blow through the cab. And even police officers have admitted that they've heard things that they can't explain. Some say she appears more often to men. Others think the haunting is a warning that reckless drivers meet her before accidents happen.
Oh, that's weird. What is the bridge? What's the connection with the bridge?
I would assume it was close to her house. I'm not really sure of the location.
Okay. Yeah, that's like one of her favorite spots.
Mhm.
Like she would walk down to the bridge.
And a lot say, it has to be like it's raining at night, really late at night after 10 o'clock before this will happen. So I would assume that maybe the time of night she got killed or something. Her death happened.
Oh yeah, it could be.
So yeah, this is the Black Joe Bridge between Harlan and Everett's. So yeah, it says that her new husband was arrested for her murder, pled guilty for involuntary manslaughter just in October of the same year that she died. And then after only serving a couple of years, he was out of prison before 1950. And it's because of this that his name will not be included because he is currently unknown if he truly committed the crime. So all we know that a beautiful 19-year-old bride was slain during what would have been the happiest time of her life.
Gruesome.
So, but people still report that happens over there, that she hitchhikes a ride with you across the bridge.
Yeah. Well, that's crazy. Like I said, I just kind of wonder what the significance of the bridge is. Wonder what the connection is there. She was murdered, but well, not immediately.
Well, according to there's two different stories. One story says that she was transported to the hospital. Another story says that she was found dead on the floor beside of her bed.
She was found dead. Okay. So conflicting stories, but there is an actual archived news story of these events of this murder taking place.
So yes, according to the Harlan Enterprise, this is a true story.
Okay, so the local paper. Wow. So yeah, we know for a fact that this happened. Maybe some of the details are a little muddy, but this woman was murdered by her husband, and now she haunts a bridge close by to where she was murdered.
I just wonder if maybe her soul was trying to run for help.
Yeah, like she's still trying to get away. That's why she's there. She's
always trying to get someone's attention.
Yeah, always hitching rides and stuff. That's cool. May have to take a trip to Harlan.
Maybe.
If we can get out alive.
You'll never leave Harlan alive.
That's cool. That's a spooky story. I like it.
I done really crappy telling the story because it was all over the place.
We're going to try to do as many spooky, supernatural, ghostly, scary stories we can throughout Scary Month.
Yep.
Halloween month. My favorite time of the year. I'm excited. But for now, don't be scared. Get a little excited because we're about to give away some free merch. That's right. A few episodes back, Hoodoo in the Holler, we talked about having 1,000 listens, streams, downloads. And in celebrating that,
giving away some free merch.
Giving away a mug.
And a t-shirt.
Yeah, and a t-shirt with Appalachia Not So Quiet emblazoned on the front of the shirt. And a QR code that sends you to our Spotify page.
And of course it
on the back.
Watch out for them boogers.
Yeah, it's got my little catchphrase on the back. Never imagined that would become a catchphrase, but whatever. I like it. So yeah, we compiled all the names together from all the comments from all the different various platforms.
Spotify, Apple, Amazon Music.
Audible.
Mm-hmm.
Not iHeart, though.
No.
They really need to allow comments on iHeart.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we've gathered all those names together, and the lovely Shade has put all those names into the magic wheel.
The Wheel of Fortune.
The Wheel of Fortune. And she's going to give it a spin. Go ahead, Vanna.
Vanna doesn't spin a wheel.
Oh, yeah. She just flips the letters. Yeah. Okay. What we got? We got Gary Cornett. Gary Cornett, you are the lucky winner of the free merch.
I'll be reaching out to you soon to see what size t-shirt you need.
Yeah. We'll get your size and get your address or whatever, and we'll send that right out to you. So congratulations. Keep listening. Keep liking. Keep commenting. We'll have more giveaways in the future. Hopefully, we'll have some way for you to just order the merch if you want to pay for it. But we're going to try to keep giving away whenever we can. We keep gaining more listeners, more followers.
Mhm.
It's pretty incredible. And I feel very humbled that so many people want to hear our voice and listen to our strange stories out of Appalachia.
Our shenanigans.
All of our haints and boogers from Appalachia. So thanks again to everybody out there listening. Keep listening. Keep tuning in. We'll keep bringing you those spooky stories, at least for this month. And then Shade will probably have me switch to Christmas stories.
There's some good Christmas stories. There's some scary Christmas stories too.
Scary Christmas stories.
There's nothing like an Appalachian Christmas.
That's true.
The
Nothing
holidays in
beats it.
Appalachia are special.
Yeah, very, very
Mhm.
special. Looking forward to the holidays. And I hope all of you are looking forward to our next episode. Till then, I'm your host, Hillbilly Phantom.
And I'm Appalachian Shade.
This is Appalachian Not So Quiet. We'll catch you on the next one. Till then, watch out for them boogers.